Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
Hey everyone, before we hop into the show, I want to let you know I am giving away a Bryce Harper jersey. All you need to do is go to my Twitter, @Brodes81, check out the pinned tweet at the top of my profile. It explains the rules. The rules are very simple. Follow me and retweet the tweet. Boom. Then you are entered to win. Every Wednesday, I do a hump day giveaway, so a new giveaway is established every Wednesday, so that's when I pick the winner, which will be DM'd. If you win, you will be DM'd. So I just want to give everyone an opportunity to head over to my Twitter to get a chance to win. Good luck. What is going on, everyone? Welcome on into Sports Talk with Brodes. Well, the 76ers get a win against the Minnesota Timberwolves, who blow. And Joel Embiid returned, and that's a big storyline, of course, and we were all excited to see him hump the ground after a big and one and crossing up karl-Anthony Towns and having a monster dunk, although he did get dunked on pretty heavily by karl-Anthony Towns, and Cat did have 39 points, and it wasn't Joel Embiid's strongest performance, but I think we understandably have to realize what he was coming back from and how it's going to take some time for him to get into a groove. I saw some face-ups that were a little sloppy, and we have been accustomed and spoiled. Let's be realistic. We have been spoiled with that version of Joel Embiid that we've gotten to this point where we don't see hiccups. We don't see problems. We don't see turnovers. We don't see bad play in the face-up game. He's been, honestly, knocked down all season long, but we know why. We know there's going to have to be a stretch where he gets comfortable again and he gets back into rhythm and he figures out, all right, this is what I need to do. So he's going to need a handful of games to figure out what has to happen again for him to be the version that he was prior to the injury. But you saw some messy post-ups as well, and it's all reasonable, though. I think that's a fair first game. He did have some nice moments as well. A couple blocks and a couple nice baskets, but he didn't try and do too much. I thought he did what he needed to do, and there was sloppiness, but I didn't think he forced the issue, and he kind of went out there and just gave it what he had, and we'll see how this continues to progress as they play basketball games. And when he sat with 5 minutes when things got closer, I didn't know if we would see him again, and I did not like Shake Milton after that technical that allowed the Timberwolves to somewhat get a little sense of urgency and somewhat get some baskets and somewhat take momentum. That was very unfortunate and something that's totally unacceptable out of Shake Milton, and there needs to be that George Hill factor soon because I think that is messing with what Shake Milton can be. You need a calm-down presence. You need a guy that wants the ball in his hands and he can slow down the squad, slow down the offense, slow down the team when an opponent is making a push. And this team sucks. The Timberwolves are a bad basketball team that has no identity and has no idea how to win games. So think about the difference between playing Minnesota and playing the Clippers, playing Minnesota and playing the Lakers, playing Minnesota and playing Milwaukee, right? It's two totally different squads where this whole Shake Milton experience, I know they didn't have many other options tonight, but I am somewhat getting stressed out and annoyed with this version of Shake Milton because it doesn't work. Now, the alternative is not sitting on the bench right now, active. George Hill is that role. George Hill is that perfect guy. There's nothing you can really utilize other than Shake Milton to help out with that second unit, but he was a problem and he was a part of the issue and a part of the downfall as he got the technicals because he tried to jack a shot up, wasn't happy with the non-call, and then things started to snowball downhill, and you had to rely on Tobias Harris, who was incredibly solid. 32 points. That mid-game post-up is lethal, and you're going to continue to see that. That will be something this team dives deep into. They already have used it for so many damn possessions late, but you talk about, playoff basketball, you're talking about Tobias Harris in that mid-range post-up game. He's going to get the separation that he's looking for. He's going to utilize his body. He's going to shoot over the defender. He's going to do some fadeaways. He knows where he's comfortable on the floor now, and it's constantly, give me the ball with my back to the basket. Let me utilize that a bit. Let me get to where I need to be. I'll turn around, and I'll take that mid-range jumper, and I'll execute, and I'll score. And Tobias Harris was so damn good, and it really does somewhat go back to this question that I've been asking since Joel Embiid has been out. When I've seen Ben Simmons fail and I've seen Ben Simmons play poorly, will Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris combined, along with a Seth Curry or a Danny Green, whichever shooter is going to have it that night. Tonight, it was Seth Curry, third quarter, ball in his hand, able to kind of score in different ways. And there are some times where I question, why isn't he shooting? It looks like they're semi-open. And for someone that can shoot the ball at a 42% clip from deep, you would imagine that he would let it fly and be willing to shoot. And if it doesn't go in, you can live with it because it's Seth Curry. There are some questionable decisions where, yo, dude, come on, shoot the rock, man. That's what you are here to do. That's why you are in a Philadelphia 76ers uniform. We need you to let it fly. And there are some times that I still get concerned with it. I still question, why didn't he do it there? What is he thinking about? What is he looking for? Why isn't he making the proper shot selection? You're Seth Curry and you shoot 42% from three right now. Do it, dude. But you did see some nice things with him in the third quarter. The third quarter in general, they turned it on defensively. The way that Mark Zumoff would describe this is locking all windows and doors, because that's what they did. And that's why I was so bothered with allowing this team to somewhat get back into the groove of things. But getting back to my point of Joel, who didn't play good, I thought it was a feel-back game, or a game where he's trying to just get his feel and get his rhythm back, and he was just going out there running up and down, getting his conditioning going, and getting a feel of playing in an NBA game again. The fact that Tobias and Joel were enough and Ben was kind of it goes back to, what is Ben going to be? And you know what? You can talk about the saved ball at the end of the game to keep it in possession of the Sixers. But if you're satisfied with that version of Ben Simmons, I don't know what to tell you anymore. And quite frankly, you piss me off. You bother me if that is okay with you. I honestly thought he allowed Anthony Edwards to get a little bit of some nice looks. And Anthony Edwards is going to be a nice talent in this league. He is very fun to watch. He's very athletic, and he can definitely do some damage. I thought some of the downfalls of Anthony Edwards was more because of his play, more so than Ben Simmons making it tough for him throughout the 48 minutes. I thought Ben allowed him to get around some screens, and I thought Ben didn't play his strongest defense. This version of Ben Simmons is crushing my soul and really bothering me, so I thought Ben Simmons was just kind of If I was grading this out with some of the positives, some of the negatives, Ben Simmons falls in that negative category for me, no matter how many dunks he has where he's celebrating hard and he's giving you some energy afterwards. Stop it. Stop it. There was energy all throughout this game, which made it fun. Anytime karl-Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid are going to be out there on the same floor, there is going to be this dynamic of some intensity and some screaming and some intensity. Look, Joel Embiid got his ass dunked on. Karl-Anthony Towns had 39 points, and Joel only played 29 minutes, so it wasn't as if Joel was the only defender on him. I thought there were times where Tobias was on Karl-Anthony Towns, and he actually did a decent job, and I saw just in general, Tobias Harris and his defense, something that continues to be put on display, something that continues to make me excited, something that I love watching out of Tobias, because with him, the mentality switch of, I want to do this, and I'm going to demand it on myself, and I am going to do it at a high clip where I will change the possible difference in where this team ends because of my willingness to bring that level of dogfight on the other end. It's amazing to see that out of Tobias, but you saw him on Karl-Anthony Towns, and I was pretty damn impressed at times, and maybe that the versatility of Tobias defensively this season might give you different looks that you might have not have thought about prior to the season beginning. By no means am I thinking that, he's at a level of Ben Simmons or he's at a level of someone like Matisse Thybulle, because he's not there yet. But I just wonder, when we talk about these matchups in the playoffs, are you now having the possibility of utilizing Tobias Harris in a way that maybe you would have never even thought of, and that could be the difference of the outcome of the series or not? Something to just think in the back of your brain, something to think about with Doc Rivers and how he's going to work with some of these matchups. But getting back to Karl-Anthony Towns and Joel Embiid, it's going to be explosive. There's going to be some hostility. There was that tough foul by Joel where he wrapped him up and it looked a little tougher than what it really was, but the reaction afterwards, everyone's like, oh, hold on. Joel gets dunked on, but Joel also had a nice dunk before that, and then he crosses over Karl-Anthony Towns, falls on his backside as he shoots the ball high up in the air, starts humping the ground, gives a little, DMX if you're a big wrestling guy or whatever the case may be, whatever you want to call the hump on the ground. He did that again, and you know that he was going to bring that juice just because you're playing in Philadelphia. I'm talking about Joel Embiid, this is. You're playing in front of fans, so you would have expected him to have that feel in his stomach like he's so damn excited, and it was like a good anxiousness type of feeling in his stomach. I mean, I would only imagine if I'm Joel before heading out of that tunnel, knowing that there's 3,000 fans ready to chant MVP for my name and ready to just feel that energy when I run out on the floor, I would have some great anxiousness involved. There's a such thing as great anxiousness, for sure. It's like a good anxious. It's a, hey, I'm excited, mixed with I can't wait, mixed with like good nerves, right? I'm sure Joel Embiid had that as he was running out of the tunnel. Not nervous to play the Minnesota Timberwolves, but you know what I'm talking about. There's always that feeling when you're excited about something, you can't sleep the night before, and you're thinking about it all day. I'm sure that was Joel Embiid, and maybe he wanted to give it a little bit of a better effort from his standpoint. But I thought that for what the circumstances were, I don't really have that much of a complaint out of him. He got to the free throw line, right? He went to the line 17 times. So because he was able to establish where he wanted to go on the court offensively, and he was running up and down the floor, and he established where he wanted to be, it forced that Minnesota team to have to foul him to slow things down, and he was able to get to the line. So some things to work on, of course, and some things that, I think he can continue to just pound on the opponents. It's a first half of a back-to-back, and I want to pull up some of the quotes that I saw from Doc Rivers after the game because he did mention Joel Embiid and the possibility of maybe him not playing tomorrow. So I just want to see some of the tweets. All right, so this is before the game. I'm looking for the ones after the game. Where are we here? So many. Okay, Doc Rivers says he doesn't know about Embiid's availability for tomorrow. We will be more cautious than aggressive. So maybe we're going to see a scenario where he only played 29 minutes, but they saw something that they didn't love, and they want to be cautious about it, but I don't know. At this point, it's a bone bruise. It's not a lingering hamstring. It's not something that, you can retweak again. It's a bone bruise. You might have to play through some pain and all, but there's this fear with Joel, and I'm over the fear with Joel. If this is how we're going to treat things for a bone bruise, my philosophy is then don't play Ben. Don't play Tobias. Don't play Danny Green. Don't play Seth Curry. And I'm not saying that they're just as valuable as Joel Embiid. You only have a chance to win an NBA championship because of Joel Embiid. But also keep in mind, you can't baby this guy. We're done with that. And all season long, you proved, at least we thought you proved, that you agreed with that mindset. We're done with babying him. How many times did we say, well, this is a different Joel Embiid. He'd fall on his back. He would continue to play the game. He would leave in the locker room. You thought he would not come back out. He ends up coming back out. He ends up having a dominating fourth. He plays a second half of a back-to-back. All season long, you had the mentality of, I am going to play Joel Embiid because this is a different season. This is a different regime. This is a different approach. We are going to let the kid play and take off the bubble wrap. Here comes a bone bruise, which is completely different than a tweaked hammy or something with something in the foot or a bad back. This is different, and now we're going back with this old mentality. And maybe it's just Doc's answer tonight, and who knows? Maybe he plays tomorrow, but I'd be a little annoyed and a little bothered because a bone bruise is different than some of the other injuries that we are talking about with Joel Embiid in the past. So some other things that I want to bring up here is with Joel Embiid maybe having some comments after the game. Joel Embiid said he thought his season was done when he got hurt, said he was asking himself, why me? Now, that's pretty interesting, though, because his instant reaction of that injury was, God damn it, just like we all thought. We were all scared. We were all nervous. We were all pounding the table. No, it can't be Joel. Anyone but Joel. It's pretty crazy to hear him have those words about it. More with Doc Rivers. He wasn't pleased with the overall game. Said it was sloppy. Thought that Tobias Harris should have gotten the ball more with the way he was going. So he even wanted Tobias to get it more. Yo, fellas, let's get it to Toby. He's that alpha tonight. Let's continue to rock with him. And I'll tell you what, man, that efficiency of Tobias Harris to this point is nothing I could have imagined happening in a billion years. He has been on another level, and we all question, is this really Tobias Harris? Can we believe in Tobias Harris? What's going to happen in the postseason? I don't think those questions are really valid anymore. Tobias Harris, and yes, and you can ask the question about the playoffs for any player. Is Danny Green still going to be that player? Is Seth Curry going to be that player? Is George Hill going to be that player with very limited access to this team in the regular season to get comfortable with his new teammates and his scheme and Doc Rivers? Is Joel Embiid going to be able to be this dominant if teams throw looks at him like maybe the Toronto Raptors did? Maybe there's something on tape that teams will utilize to throw him in for a loop. So yes, the whole playoff thing, that's fair for anyone, specifically Ben Simmons. Fine. But this dude's been doing it. This guy has been it all year, almost every single game. I'm not going to tell you 100% of the time, but 97% of the time, Tobias Harris has been there, and what he's doing is he's doing it over and over again from the same spots on the floor where he knows he can utilize and he can crash in that area. I mean, he can bang wherever he wants to, and he can score, and he can dominate, and he can get the looks he's trying to get over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's the same offense. It's getting the same mismatch he wants. He's getting to the same areas, and that tells me something. It's different if it's all over the map. It's over here one night. It's over there the other night, and there's some awkwardness involved with it. There's no awkwardness to this. There's no awkwardness to Tobias Harris and who he has been this year. It is the same action. It's the same delivery. It's the same execution. So when it's that and it's getting drilled down your throat over and over again, you can believe that, hey, there's something to this madness. There's something to this version of Tobias Harris, and it's ridiculous. Doc Rivers said he saw lots of things he liked out of Ben Simmons, including just one turnover. Said Simmons needs to figure out when the gaps are there for him to score and when they're there to facilitate. Oh, well, no shit, right? I mean, that's where I'm just annoyed and bothered because, yeah, I mean, the way I say it is this. I've been one of the most patient guys when it comes to 76ers basketball. But there is this element of Ben where by now, it doesn't have to be to the elite level that everybody wants it to be in scoring. But there has to be more of a jump than we've gotten. And how you take such a step back, there was maybe a 2-week stretch before the All-Star game where he was incredible. Take out that 2-week stretch of the season, Ben Simmons sucked this year. Besides 2 weeks, he had a 2-week span of really intelligent, phenomenal basketball. Other than that, Ben Simmons has flat out been a joke and an embarrassment. But it dates back to, you might not need him to be anything other than just a defender. And then your passer out to three because you have you have Joel Embiid and Tobias doing everything else. And look, at the end of the day, I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care what role you're in. If you can win a championship, you can win a championship. But if I'm Ben Simmons and I'm not looking myself in the mirror and being disappointed in myself, well, shame on you. Really. Shame on you. Before we continue, let me tell you about my friends over at DeSimone Jewelers. I went there for my fiance's engagement ring, and it was the best experience of my life. You have to. I demand you to go there when it comes to your significant other, family member, friend, when you want to purchase jewelry, because it was the best experience of my life. They are a family-owned business with over 40-plus years of experience. They moved from Jewelers Row to Haddonfield, New Jersey. They don't use sale tactics. They just educate their customers, and they treat their customers like family. They customize and manufacture every ring they make from start to finish right there on location. And because of that, they're able to beat all competitors' prices. I send so many family and friends in their direction, and I constantly get back the same response. I'm going there every time I need a piece of jewelry. And I go, I know, I do the same thing. You'll know exactly what I mean when you head in there and you say, hey, guys, Brodes sent me. And they'll treat you to the top of the top of the top. Not that they wouldn't do that anyway. But when you walk in there and say, Brodes sent you, yeah, it's just unbelievable. It really is. Tell them Brodes sent you. More information is down below in the description. All right, why don't we get to the Anytime Hotline to hear from you?
Very nice win for the Sixers tonight. Very nice win for the Phillies, too. Flyers, not so much. But in terms of the Sixers, it's just so nice to have Joel Embiid back in the fold, because when I saw that injury against the Wizards, I thought it was all over. I thought he was going to be done for the rest of the season. I thought he was going to be done for the rest of next season too. I think it's incredible that he's back only after 3 weeks, and it's going to take some time for him to get back in the flow. But here's the big thing: I want him 100% for the playoffs. Because that's what I'm thinking about at this point. We got only a third of the season left, and I want this team to be 100% for the playoffs. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I still want them to win games and get a high seed, preferably the 1 seed. But I'm thinking playoffs at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how everyone's thinking. It's, hey, get us to the playoffs. But, I'm not going to start becoming a softy, and you're not going to play, and we're going to hold everybody back, and we don't want anyone to play anymore, and we're going to sit out Joel Embiid forever. I think that that's such a flawed mindset. This is sports. If that's the case, then don't ever play Joel Embiid and then just wait for the playoffs, right? I mean, if that's the case, if that's the mentality you're going to have, then don't play anybody and just wait. This is sports. There might be something that happens. There might not be something that happens. You can't play out of fear. When you start, or you can't coach or have an approach of being a team that's afraid. If that happens, that's when the injuries occur even more. Now, yes, there is a line. You can't be stupid about things, but that's not where the Sixers are at this point. It's a bone bruise. You were able to play him 30 minutes tonight. It's a bone bruise. I'm not going to back down from playing Joel Embiid for this backstretch because I'm afraid of anything happening to him. Don't be soft. Don't be bothered with this nonsense. Let the guy go out there and play. That's what you did all year. That was your philosophy all year this season. If it wasn't, and that was your approach from the jump, maybe I would have a different mindset. Even if I didn't agree with it, that's who you have been all year. Well, this season, you were being tough on Joel. You were making a statement with Joel. You were trying to be a force with Joel. You made it very clear that this was a different style that you were going to go with the big man. He played in back-to-backs. He played in tough moments. He played when you thought it was a no-brainer that he was going to sit his ass on the bench and just watch with load management. But that's not who you were, and there was a reason why that's not who you were, because you were trying to apply a different mentality with the franchise and with the big man. Now, all of a sudden, we want to go back in another direction. And I think it's funny that, and I'm not saying you specifically, but I'm just listening to the fan base's reaction and where they were to this point. And it's like the people that in years past wanted him to, oh, why are you doing load management? Oh, you can't treat this guy like a baby. Now, all of a sudden, some of those same individuals have this whole different thought process of, oh, well, we can't get Joel Embiid injured, so let's not play him and let's be smart about things. How did it flip all of a sudden? How do you now have this monster change with the way that they are handling things? I think at this point, when you're thinking about the backstretch and you're thinking about getting Joel Embiid back to the pace that he was playing at, you need to play him. This will be the version that you get. The Timberwolves blow. Minnesota sucks. They are awful. And that's what Joel Embiid looked like. So if you think that not playing him is going to be the best way, and then you're going to go up against some good teams in the playoffs, and he's going to just be able to click easily like he didn't miss a beat, not the case, not how it's going to work. You need to get this team back into rhythm with Joel. How are they going to run? How are they going to run their offense? What are they going to do? How are they going to play? What's the rotation going to look like? All of that matters, and Joel has to be out there on the floor because you don't know a damn thing about this team unless Joel is on the floor. You can't take a damn thing away from any of those West Coast games without him, for any of those games over the last couple of weeks without him, because with and without him, this team runs a different style of play. And you need him out there so you can figure out what this team is for this playoff run. You need to have him out there. So I'm not babying him.
It's just great to see Joel Embiid back out there. This wasn't the best of games. It was pretty sloppy. But when they locked in, they locked in. And it kind of felt like a game that they just coasted through most of it. But when they needed to, they got the job done. You could definitely see the tension between Embiid and Cat throughout. Other than that, Tobias Harris stepped up in the clutch. I thought shaking him, playing a little bit more off the ball helped him a little bit. All in all, it was just great to see Embiid back out there.
It definitely is. Joel Embiid is the energy and the love that we need out there on the floor. The Shake Milton thing is just head-scratching to me. I never know what I'm going to get. I don't really love the efficiency rate. I don't think it's to my liking. And yes, there is something to be said about off the ball, but I'm just not ready to say I can rely on Shake Milton. I need people that I can rely on in bigger moments. I can do that with Embiid. I can do that with Tobias. I can do that with Danny Green. I don't really know if I can do that with Seth Curry, but the fact that he can shoot 42% from three is the threat that I'm looking for with spacing. So by default, he's in there. I don't know if I can truly rely on that, but his percentages is scary. If he's having one of his nights, then yeah, he can be a difference maker out there. Ben, I definitely can't rely on. But George Hill, I can. But Shake Milton, I just don't think he's ready yet. I don't think he's ready yet for that type of role. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope he shuts me up. I see it in him. There are flashes of it. And I do know that it's in there. I just don't think he's ready yet. I think he's a couple years away. He still needs some growing. He still needs some developing. And the problem is, with where you're at with Joel and with where you're at with Tobias, the room for growing is different. 2 years ago, it's like, okay, they can grow together and kind of mold together as you take those steps in the playoffs and lose as one, grow as one, develop as one. But now, with Joel being in the I'm ready to win right now, and Tobias being in the I'm ready to win right now, and Danny Green being here for 1 year, bringing the professionalism and trying to get another ring, saying I'm ready to win right now, this whole like, hey, maybe in 2-3 years I can really rely on Shake Milton to be that bench piece. Well, the timeline's not adding up for me, and that's not to say anything bad about Shake Milton or anything like that, but for me personally, the Shake Milton experience, I am very cold on it. I'm very on it. There's something missing for me out of Shake Milton, and I don't think you're really going to fix that. George Hill will play that role, but even then, even if Shake plays off the ball, yes, it's a better version than him on the ball, but is that still enough? I don't know. I don't know the answer. It can be. Maybe it is. I just need to be sold it by seeing it before anything else.
Hey, what's going on, Brodes? Hell of a game. Oh, so nice to see Joel back. Man, just like usual, getting to the line. Loved every second of it. Shake played good. Tobias just getting bucket after bucket after bucket. He might be one of the smoothest players in the league, in my opinion. I love watching him. Seth getting some buckets. Danny Green. I mean, all around good effort. Hell of a game.
You know what's funny? You just said that Tobias might be one of the smoothest players in the game right now. Think about where we were last year. Think about where we were in the beginning of this offseason. People wanted Tobias out of here. Gone. See ya. But it was impossible to move on from that contract. And now within 1 year, he has this whole new confidence. And I think he took that personally. As much as I want to give, and I will, give credit to Doc Rivers for just knowing how to use Tobias Harris. And there's something to be said about the dynamic of those two. They click. They're one and the same. They know. They got each other. They know each other. They figured it out together. They just know how to work with one another, and that is a big part of it. But I also feel that Tobias Harris is not dumb. He's very, very smart, to be fair. But he heard the noise. He heard the fan base. He heard the reaction. He heard the talking heads. He heard ESPN, Fox Sports, you name it. He heard everyone talk about how much of a joke he was and how much of a poor decision it was for that Sixers franchise to hand him over the big money instead of Jimmy Butler. And I think he took that personally. So, and I'm a player guy first. What is the player doing? How is he elevating himself? What's he doing to become a better player? And I think that there's something to be said about Tobias taking in all that noise and applying it to his offseason, applying it to who he wants to become and how he wants to change the narrative on who Tobias Harris is. And that has elevated him to this different player. So, yes, Doc Rivers is putting him in different spots on the floor, and there's this comfortability factor, and he told him to make quicker decisions, yada, yada, yada. How about Tobias Harris saying, fuck you, assholes? How about that? How about Tobias Harris saying, I'm a better player than what I showed. I'm a different player. I can be a game changer. I can give you more efficient plays. I can shoot better from three. I can handle the rock. I can take better opportunities against mismatches. I can defend. All the praise is going to Doc for doing what he did to Tobias Harris, and he deserves credit. But I don't hear enough credit to Tobias Harris for Tobias Harris being the dog that stepped up and said, I need to be better. I'm going to switch how people think about me. I'm going to be able to help out Joel Embiid when he needs help in crunch time. And it hasn't been once or twice or 3 times or 4 times or even 5 times or even 6 times or 7 times. It's been way too many to even count. It's been consistent all season long that he has become that. So I find it fascinating that we get a call talking about how Tobias Harris is one of the smoothest players in the league, and 6 months ago, people are ready to ship his ass out of town. I mean, there were some that said, I'd rather get rid of Tobias than Al Horford. Oh, that's funny. And I never liked that, because at least Tobias made sense at the 4. He made sense at the 4. Al Horford next to Joel Embiid didn't make sense at the 4. Tobias, at least in theory, X and O, made sense at the 4. So to me, it was a no-brainer the whole time. Ship Al Horford out of here and keep Tobias Harris, because at least he made sense. And he can give you some of that versatility at 3, although this year, now that the roster is completely different, he plays that 4 game. But I like the fact that it's not stressed just to be that stretch 4. Hey, just hang out in the corners, just do this and that. It's get more established. Get to where you need to be. Get to where you can take advantage of that size and that frame. And that's something that you can do. You get that mismatch naturally because of the uniqueness of what Tobias Harris brings from his entire skill set. You have an advantage, no doubt.
Brodes, the Sixers do it again. This time against the Timberwolves. They're unstoppable. Embiid is back. MVP Embiid is back. And we're ready for the road ahead.
Well, to be fair, I didn't watch tonight and say the MVP version of Joel Embiid is back. I saw some things I liked. I saw some nice buckets. I saw some of the mid-range stuff, and I saw some of the defense at times, but he had hiccups. He had 4 turnovers. The face-up game was a little bit wonky. I did not see the Joel Embiid that to say, hey, you know, our MVP is back, unless you were just saying it in general, hey, Joel Embiid is back. Not so much what I saw was the version of Joel Embiid that we have seen previously, where he was taking control of games and just being an absolute gamer out there. But I think at the same time, like, that was inevitable. What we saw today was somewhat obvious that we were going to get this version of Joel, because bone bruises are tough to come back from, and you might have some discomfort and some pain, but it's not the same, as I always mention, it's not the same as a tweaked hammy. It's different when it's a bone bruise. It's going to be tough. It might be a little painful, but you can play and play through that. It's not so much going to take 5,000 steps backwards. Just going to have to fight through some discomfort. And that's why I said at the time, you're not going to see him in a week. Like they were saying, oh, he's only going to miss a week or 2. You're not going to see the same Joel Embiid in a week or 2, because this is going to cause some pain and discomfort. But you are going to have to play through that pain and discomfort to get you back to where you need to be, or else when you get thrown back into the mix, if you're sitting out forever, you're not going to be in the right shape. You're not going to be in the right mindset. You're not going to be in the same rhythm. So you got to find that happy medium of playing through the pain, playing through the discomfort, playing through the bone bruise, so you can make sure that your ability is there when it's time to say, hey, we're going into a 7-game series against an opponent. So you can't just say, well, if you're playing through pain, don't play him at all. Well, if that's the case, good luck, because you're going to get an out-of-rhythm Joel Embiid. And an out-of-rhythm Joel Embiid might be good enough to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. It might not be able to beat some of these other teams. And that's just reality of the situation, unless you get a different version of Ben Simmons. But I don't anticipate seeing that either, because this is who he has been majority of the time this year. And that's sad. It's sad. Before I let you out of here, though, I need you to head over to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, download it right now, and check out all of their odds and promotion boosts. We now have the NCAA tournament basically over, except for the big dance, the big daddy. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code Brodes when you sign up to get in on all of the action. Check out the over-under. Check out the spread. Check out the money line. Check out some of the player props. If college basketball is not for you, that's fine. You can definitely go check out pro basketball. Check out the 76ers, hockey, golf, you name it. So much is on the table. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app and use promo code BRODES when you sign up. That's code BRODES when you sign up for a limited time. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. In partnership with Meadows Racetrack and Casino. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will see you next time.